explaining to you the break-even point. Okay, so let me just repeat. When I calculate the break-even point, it's to calculate how many units do I need to produce to cover my fixed cost. And from that unit, the next unit is making a profit. Because up until that, the contribution, which is the difference between the selling price and the variable cost, that contribution goes into covering the fixed cost, in this case the 200. Once the 200 is covered, the 5 rand goes towards my profit. You guys get it? Okay, so let's do this example together. If I look here, they say McCarthy Stores manufactures and sells soccer boots. Just by the way, when you set up a production cost statement and you do all this cost calculations, you work with one type of product. So in other words, let's say you have in your shop t-shirts and sweatpants. You're going to do what you do for t-shirts and separately again for sweatpants, because you need to calculate for that specific item how much is the cost going to be, number one, and number two, with the break even, how much do we need to produce of that specific type of item. Okay, so now they say, that's why you can see, you will see there's only one item. They always give you only one. McCarthy is worried about the decline in sales figures for 2019. He requested you as an internal auditor of the business to prepare calculations. Am I on the right page? Yeah. Sorry, ne? Okay. To prepare calculations and reasons to support his findings. So number one, they want you to calculate the break-even point. Now, if you go to page 12, you will see they gave you the information for 2018 and 2019. I only want to calculate 2019. You get me? So, I know my formula says I want the total fixed cost over the selling price per unit less the variable cost per unit. So my total fixed cost they give me, it's 55 rand, but can you see they give it to me per unit in this case. I don't want the per unit, I want the total. So I need to say that 55 I need to times with the units produced, 46. Now let's go look, what is the selling price per unit? They say it's 194. And the variable cost per unit, they say it's 134. Now if they didn't give me that total, you should know it's the direct material, direct labor and sales and distribution together gives you the variable. So they give me it's 134. So now if I look, what is 55 times 4, 600? Oh.
55 times 4.6.
No.
253,000.
I can't do much.
Okay, now if I look at this, my selling price less my variable cost gives me 60 rand. Is that right?
Yeah.
That 60 rand, I call that my contribution. Because firstly, it's going to contribute to covering the 253. And then once that is covered, it's going to contribute towards my profit. So, how many units do I need to produce? 4,000.
217.
Huh?
Round off.
4217.
Okay, so what was the comma?
66.
Okay. Can I tell you, with this one, you always round up. because you can't sell half a finished product. So in other words, if it was 4216.1, you would still round it off to 467. You guys get what I'm saying? Because you can't sell the t-shirt without its sleeves. You can only sell the full product. Okay, so you always round upwards. Now the next question. Compare and comment on the break-even point and the production level achieved by McCarthy stores over the last 2 years. Quote relevant figures. Now, can you see they want you to comment on the break-even and the production, but don't fall into the trap of saying the break-even increase, decrease from this to that, the production level increase, decrease to that. That's not what they want. They want you to go to this. Now, we've calculated the break-even to be 4217. You get that? Now, if I look at 2018, my break-even was 4050. My units produced was 45. So can you see I made a profit on 50? Am I right? Am I right?
Wait, what are you saying? Can you please repeat?
So if I say 45 is what I produced, I need to produce 4050. I make a profit on 50. Is that right?
Not 50. 450.
That's it. Thank you. You are awake. 450. So 450 units will give me a profit. Okay. But now let's look at 2019. My break even is 4217. I produced, can you see my production increased? But can you see my break even also increased? So on how many products do I make a profit? 383. So can you see I'm making, it doesn't mean that I in rand make less profit, but it means that less products give me a profit. So what am I going to say in my comment? I'm going to combine that. I'm going to say the business made profit on 450 units in 2018. This year they make profit on only 383 units. Or you can say the profit decreased from profit on 450 units to profit on 383 units. Because if you do this, you compared it, so you are in one comment commenting on both the things they want you to comment.
So this would be 5 marks?
This would be 5 marks.
Can we see where the marks are made?
It would actually be 4 marks. I don't know where they get the 5. But what they will do is they want to see the word profit and the 450, then they get 2 marks. Maybe in this case, because you say it's less, né? If you said it's less profit, then maybe you'd get an extra tick. But usually in the grade 12 papers, this is 4 marks. And interesting, if you were to fall in the trap of saying the break-even point increased from this to this, and the production level increased from this to this, you'll only get 2 marks. Because they want to see that you know you need to compare the two, you need to link the two. Provide one reason each for the change in the direct material cost and the direct labor cost. So now, this is very important because this is where you're going to get your ticks. So I want you to quickly just make a note here at the top. When I talk direct material, I always want to look at the supplier. So if the cost went up or down, it could be because I changed suppliers, ne? And the one is cheaper or more expensive. Another thing I can look at is the transport. If I have a supplier that's now closer, I'm going to pay less travel money, ne? So then my direct material per unit is going to decrease. Another one is wastage. Now, let's quickly think. Let's say I employ Gugu and he has to make muffins. But in his life he's never baked before, but I don't train him. I just give him a recipe and I say, there you go, Boot, bake. So his first batch burns. The second batch, half of it is raw. The third batch is fine. Can you see that the batch available to sell is actually equal to 3 batches? Ne? Because he had 3 times practicing. So can you see, if I trained him before the time, he would have gotten it right first time. Then I save money. Or let's take an example of a cake. The cake needs 6 eggs. Ne? But when I open, the first egg is rotten. The second egg is rotten. The third egg is fine. The fourth egg is fine. The fifth egg, I let it fall on the floor. The sixth egg is fine. Can you see from the batch of 6, I only used 3. Can you see then that I actually used more eggs to bake the cake than just 6? So the quality of your material is very important. The training is very important. So what am I saying? They're always going to ask you, why did the direct material change? Then you go, look, did it increase or decrease? Then you can use, you decide which ones comes natural to you. For me, I will say there was less wastage, or there was more wastage, or it was bad quality material they bought, or they changed suppliers. You guys get it? Now when I look at direct labor, the first thing you need to realize is overtime is more expensive. So if the direct labor per unit goes up, it's not because we got an extra worker. And if it goes down, it's not because I fired someone. Let me explain something to you. So, Mbali works for my factory. I pay her 100 rand per day. Ne? She knits 1 jersey a day. So what is the labor cost for 1 jersey? 100 rand. Now I send her to training. Or I buy knitting machines. Now she knits 2 jerseys in a day. Am I going to pay her now 200 rand? No, I still pay her 100 rand per day, but now she's more productive. Now, what is now the labor cost per unit?
50.
It's now 50 rand. Can you see, I didn't pay her more. I just made her work better. And I can do that either by upgrading the machinery or by training her. You guys get it? So, training, very important. Upgrade machinery so there's less mistakes. It's all about them not making mistakes. Yes?
I don't get why it went from 100 to
Okay, so usually I pay her 100. I don't pay her per jersey. I pay her 100. So previously she could only knit 1 jersey a day. So that jersey's labor cost me 100 rand. But when I train her, now she can knit 2 jerseys. I still pay her only 100 rand. But for that 100 rand, I now get 2 units.
So I get
So, if I look at it like this, here's Mbali. Yeah? She's knitting. I pay her 100 rand a day. That's her wage. Now, before the training, she knits one jersey. Okay? She knits them weird. Then, so now I say the direct labor cost per unit would be, I paid her 100, she made only one unit, so it's 100 rand. Now I send her for training. So now she does 2 jerseys. I still only pay her 100. But now the unit is 2. So now each jersey cost me 50 rand. Does that make sense? You guys with me? So in other words, if I can get my workers to be more productive, the labor cost per unit will decrease. Okay. Now, the other one, let me explain overtime. Remember, overtime is more expensive than norm time. Overtime is usually what they say time and a half. So if they pay norm time 100 rand, overtime would be 150 rand. Okay, now, how can I save on overtime? Through training, because now my workers work faster, so they don't need to stay after hours to finish deadlines. You see? What else? What is a wonderful way, and a lot of factories do that, how they save on overtime? Have you ever heard about working shifts?
Oh, yeah, shit.
So, norm time is not in daylight. Norm time is 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. It's 40 hours a week. Doesn't matter if you do it when the sun shines or the moon shines. So what a lot of factories do, because we also know what takes the most, draws the most electricity, is switching the machines on. So what a lot of factories do is they don't switch off. They work 24/7, and they let their workers work in shifts. So nobody works overtime. They only work 8 hours a day in 3 shifts. You see, so yes, but it's going to still work them out maybe more expensive, because now they need 3 sets of people instead of only 1 set. Ne? But now their machines is running 24/7, so their production is also way more. Yes, you want to say?
So, like, do people who work like graveyard shifts, do they earn more?
It depends. It's the graveyard shift. So they call it a graveyard shift because of the timing. So the question I ask you, is this part of their norm time, or is this part, or are they working overtime?
Like, let's say it's just normal time.
No, then they don't get anything extra. I know my one friend is a radiologist, and she works 1 week day shift, 1 week night shift.
So then
But that's norm time.
doesn't earn more than the day shift.
No, no.
When I grew up, I was 7
But I also want to be very clear on this. I cannot make a rule and say, for a graveyard shift you don't get more, because that will depend on each business. So the things I'm telling you here is the general rule. It doesn't mean that the rules are fixed. Ne? Okay. Everybody fine? So now, provide one reason for the change in the direct material. Now, can you see the direct material increased? So you say, direct material cost increased to 60 Rand per unit. And then the easiest one is the business changed suppliers. Or you can say the business decided to buy material of a better quality. Or you can say the business had a lot of new workers, so there were a lot of wastage. Okay, let's look at the direct labor. So the direct labor decreased. Do I pay them less? No, this is not what I pay them. This is how much it costs per unit to hire them. So direct labor cost decreased to 58 Rand per unit. Workers were more productive. Or you can say workers went for training, or you can say the business upgraded the machine so they could work faster, or there wasn't a lot of overtime. The workers finished the targets within norm time. Anything like that is a good reason. Norm time.
It's half past.
It's still norm time. We're not overtime in accounting yet. Okay, so that was question 3. You're going to do now for me question 4.